All right, you guys. So we back in here, and this particular video, we're going to talk about a individual who has done nothing but take a whole bunch of money and was living a grandiose lifestyle with it. Now, the individual here we're talking about goes by the name of Mr. William A. Smith. He's 52 years old. He was the former chief financial officer of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. He pleaded guilty to federal charges after a years-long scheme of embezzlement totaling around $40 million. Now, according to documents, William A. Smith of Northville, he was employed as the chief financial officer of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy from 2011 through 2024 as a 501c3 organization formed with the mission of developing access to the Detroit Riverfront. Now, this envisions a creation of continuous river walk from the Ambassador Bridge in the west to Gabriel Richard Park in the east, along with plazas, pavilions, and spaces. So basically, in all intents and purposes, this was supposed to be an area that was supposed to be developed that he was supposed to oversee. And instead of overseeing these projects and making sure that the appropriate money gets to the appropriate places so that way things can be developed, well, the only thing he did was took that money and developed his own lifestyle. Now, according to the plea agreement, beginning no later than 2012 and continuing through May 2024, Smith orchestrated a scheme to embezzle millions of dollars of funds belonging to the DRFC, or that's the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. All right. Now, the embezzlement scheme took three principal forms. What's up, Ted? Yeah, definitely a buck dancer and a thief, right? Stealing from your own community. Now, the first principle, Smith diverted conservancy funds from the organization's bank accounts to a bank account in the name of the Joseph Group Incorporated, an entity owned and controlled by Smith. The Joseph Group was not an approved vendor for the conservancy and provided no goods and services of any kind to the organization. However, between February 2013 and May 2024, Smith transferred approximately $24.4 million from the conservancy's bank account in the name of the Joseph Group. Second part of the scheme, he maintained an American Express account in another name of other entities he owned and controlled. This one called William Smith and Associates LLC. There were 4 American Express cards issued on this account between 2012 and 2024. Smith used approximately $14.9 million in the conservancy funds to pay off purchases made on this account. Now, none of these expenditures were authorized by the conservancy, which maintained other credit card accounts for conservancy purchases. Smith used the American Express account to purchase furniture, designer clothing, handbags, lawn care services, airline tickets, and other consumer goods and services for himself and his family. Yeah, they was out there living a lifestyle on other people's money. The third part of the scheme, he used conservancy funds to purchase cashier's checks from various financial institutions. These cashier's checks were unauthorized, and Smith used the cashier's checks for his own purposes without the knowledge and or approval of the conservancy's board of directors. Now, he engaged in various practices to cover up and sustain his massive fraud scheme. Some instances, he falsified bank statements, right? He provided to the conservancy's bookkeeper. So basically, he was out here cooking the books to shield what he was doing. Altering or deleting unauthorized transfers on the statements in order to keep them off the books. And like I said, he was cooking the books. Another instance, he took out a line of credit with a financial institution, Citizens Bank, on behalf of the conservancy. He claimed to be acting with the authorization of the conservancy's board of directors in taking out this line of credit. He had no such authority, and the documents he provided Citizens Bank purporting to show that he had such authorization were forgeries. Now, he used the funds from this line of credit to the tune of $5 million to infuse monies into Conservancy's bank account to help cover up his substantial embezzlement of these accounts. According to plea documents, he also took complex steps to disguise the origin of the funds he embezzled from the Conservancy. He routinely transferred stolen Conservancy money through elaborate chains of intermediate entities, all with the intent of concealing the source and nature of these funds. The plea agreement states that the financial losses from the scheme are difficult to quantify with such precision. However, Smith agreed to pay no less than $44.3 million in restitution as a result of this misconduct. He admitted to perpetrating a financial crime that's astonishing in its scope and impact, stealing over $40 million from the Conservancy, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the Conservancy's trust, but he betrayed that trust of the whole community so he can enjoy the trappings of wealth and comfort. Now, I can't say I'm shocked by this, right? We've seen this kind of misconduct on a massive scale. What's up, Belinda? Everybody that's in the chat room, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, support the channel, and thank you once again for tuning in. Now, I've seen Bernard Madoff, right? Bernard Madoff is the most notorious thief out here in society, right? And he's going to have to attest for his crimes in hell or in heaven, wherever he's at somewhere, right? I've seen a guy that was, I can't remember his name, but he was a prominent real estate investor in South Carolina. He collected pens, and these pens were worth like $27,000. He was also a professor at Charleston Southern University, and he was, busted for stealing people's money. So I can't say I'm shocked to where the level of thievery that's going on in today's society is that high. I can't be surprised because it goes on all the time. It's to a point where I'm almost numb to it, where you've seen people getting busted, taking tens of thousands of dollars, and in this case, tens of millions of dollars to satisfy their own lifestyle, right? We've seen preachers do it. We've seen mayors do it. Matter of fact, back almost 20 years ago, you have the story of Kwame Kilpatrick, the former Detroit mayor, right? And all his corruption. And in this level of corruption, you see cities and other towns get impacted significantly, negatively by this stuff, right? The New Orleans mayor, I can't remember his name. He just recently got out of jail. Another dude, right? These black folks out here who will be in charge of supporting the supporting the city and supporting projects and all that, and they're out here stealing this money like it's going out of style and spending this money like it's going out of style. Anyway, so this man pleaded guilty to his crimes, and let's see what else this thing has to say, right? All right. Now, this criminal complaint was unsealed in federal court back in June. He was also arraigned in September with a court document filed later that month saying the plea deal was in the works. The judge will decide Smith's sentence at a hearing scheduled for March the 20th. Assistant Attorney John Neal said the sentencing guidelines indicate Smith could receive between 15 and a half years and 19 and a half years in prison, but added that Smith and his attorneys have disagreed with that assessment. Now, the guilty plea followed the derailment of a similar hearing 3 weeks prior after Smith's attorney said he identified an issue with the plea agreement that was not disclosed. Now, the thing about these plea agreements is they have to be honored by the judge, right? Just because the prosecution and the defense come to an agreement of, hey, yeah, we agreed on these charges and things of that nature. We agreed on this sentence. Well, that ultimately comes down to the judge, because the judge can throw all that out the window, and the judge can impose his own um, form of punishment and things of that nature. I don't see this guy getting no less than 20 years in prison. I mean, this man got involved in this scheme for over a decade. I don't see how he don't get at least 20 years, right? So that 15 and a half years, that's just wishful thinking, and that's being ambitious. I see this dude getting at least 20 years. They said other purchases included a $17,500 purchase at Louis Vuitton. He lives with his parents at what internet search shows is a Detroit bungalow, and has been unemployed since his firing, he told the judge. For the 18 years before that, he was the financial steward of the organization. He overseen the development of 5.5 miles of river frontage within the public, private, and philanthropic funds. His fraud went undetected by the conservancy leaders until March, when an internal audit was initiated and his findings were turned over to Michigan State Police and then eventually the FBI. Lax oversight at the nonprofit and mixed early warning signs helped clear a path for his theft. He allegedly maintained sole access to the nonprofit's online bank accounts, presented his accountant with falsified only paper bank statements in person. He also took out a $5 million line of credit in 2023, and then was allegedly forged with Conservancy's cash flow problems. The feds also said he also initiated for the transfer of funds embezzled from the Conservancy from his business account to an account held by First Round Management LLC in 2021. And what the feds have said supports the laundering charge. A separate federal civil forfeiture and a case and local civil lawsuit against Smith are ongoing. They say up to $39 million of his assets have been frozen in the federal case, with the exception of up to $3,421 a month from a rental property granted by a judge as an allowance. A temporary restraining order permits the controlled sale of property under certain conditions, with proceeds preserved for the benefit of Smith's victims and ultimately subject to court approval. The U.S. Attorney's Office has recommended the courts approve the sale of Smith's property in Idlewild, Michigan, which came under contract with a prospective buyer in May for $78,000. The lawsuit, filed by the Conservancy in Wayne County back in July, targets Smith, his family members, and a friend in an attempt to recoup some of the money that he embezzled. Yeah, because they were living that lifestyle on that money that's not theirs. But anyway, this is disgusting, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, we talk about all the time about, hey, we need to have black folks in charge of some of these programs, and so that way we can be on the even level playing field, these white supremacists. And then you find out that some of these jackasses out here ain't no different than these white supremacists, because again, money does not make you who you are. It makes you more of who you are. So this man was a thief before he got access to that money. And then when he got access to that money, he became a bigger thief. Out here just getting involved in all kinds of shady practices, and then he got the nerve, the audacity, to get a gall to sit up here and try to look down on people like me. You fucking thief! Anyway, your ass need to fucking rot. God damn it. You need to do all them goddamn days in jail. Every last fucking day. Stealing $44 million for somebody? Yeah. Get your ass in the clink. And the only advice I got to give your punk ass is to don't drop the soap, you bitch. Anyway, you guys let me know what y'all think. You know how to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Once again, keep your head up and your ass down, punk motherfucker. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hurt! Sorry for that.